Let's see if I can continue to make progress on adding back the edit settings. So we have an entity list here, and this might be a good location to put in a settings editor. So we can maybe add a new component here called settings, and maybe we'll create this as a Svelte setting. Let's call it settings, and this should load up the existing settings. So we're going to want to be able to import these things from Urkel. I probably need this as well. And we are going to make a query for the space to get the settings. So we'll do this. Okay, so we've got space. Give me the slug. So we need the slug as well. So slug is get context slug. And then we query the space, and then we can present that. Actually, we don't need entities, we just need settings. I think that comes back as JSON. So we have that. We're going to use this bit. So if the space is fetching, you're saying loading, error, else, let's just say settings. And each space data space settings as, okay, so we got to object keys. Each one of these as setting, and just show me the setting. Actually, let's do this. Do input type equals text, and the name is setting, and the value bind value equal space data space settings setting. So that should give us settings. So this is loaded by entity list. So we'll import settings from settings, and we'll just place it above the settings, like so. Okay, and how does this look like? Oh, it's all expanded already. It's all expanded. Yeah, we don't want it all expanded yet. We want it as a link. Okay, so let's leave it to the settings to show whether it's expanded or not. So we can maybe call this edit settings. Now let's refactor this to be called edit settings. Rename edit settings. Or we could put the control on the parent. So if they clicked on that, it pops up, and if they click close, the parent will remove it. Okay, so let's leave this as is. Never mind. Okay, let's go back to entity list. Entity list can have a property here called let show settings, and let it be false. And then instead of bringing in the settings, we do so if show settings is true. Let's put this up here. Then we show the settings. Else we say just have a label that says settings, and then it'll be end the if. Maybe we'll just make this a button. Say edit settings, and we'll put an on click. Do something like show settings equal the opposite of show settings. Come over here, edit settings. Is there an error? Oh. So if we edit settings, it'll open this thing. And what's interesting is we could just not have these on the same level. Settings and entity list. So this menu is really should have a division. Do you want to go into settings or entities? So where's our menu? Our menu has the show entity list, and we have toggle show entity list. So we could do the same thing with we have a menu overlay, and we can have another main edit menu. Main edit menu. Okay, all right. What do we do here? We do what we were doing here. So this should be toggle main menu. Toggle main menu. And let's import not the entity list, but import main edit menu from main menu. We can remove the entity list. This will be toggle show main menu is false. Show main menu gets toggled. Okay, so that replaces that with the menu. So then when you get into the menu, you're going to have to keep track of some things like let show entity list can be one of them. And the other one can be show the settings. Show settings false. And let's make these buttons. So we can have a button which is edit entities. The other one can be edit settings. Okay, clicking on this did nothing. Let's go to the menu. On click should have toggled this thing, which changes the show main menu, but that does, oh, here we go. If show main menu, which is false, becomes true, then menu, it's just, I'm trying to see if something comes out. Okay, it is here, I just don't see it. Yes. The toggle entity list has a class of container, and that makes it possible to use these. Also, didn't we make them global somewhere? Global modal content. Oh yeah, we're not using modals. But it was using entity list close and a container. Let's copy this for now. Put this into main edit menu under style, and we'll make this to a div. And this class will be a container. And I'm not sure we need a close. Yeah, maybe we do need a close button. Yeah, we had all of that. We need to toggle the menu. So the menu, yeah, we didn't hook that up yet. It needs to be able to toggle that. It doesn't look too bad. It looks like tabs at the top. So the edit menu can have a function here. Let's just copy this from the entity list. Let's just copy that, put it in the bit up here, which is toggle menu. And since it's already opened, I think we need to pass the toggle menu in. So we'll go to its container, which is the menu overlay, and we'll pass the toggle show main menu function in, and save this, and then in the here we'll export, let this thing be something that you can call. Open, close, open. Now we need to hook these guys up. In here, we've got these two buttons. Maybe it's enough just to say there's settings and entities. And maybe only one of them can be selected. So if you click on this one, we select settings, click on the other one. So so maybe not this, let selected tab equal null at first, and then on click, let's just say that the selected tab is equal to settings, and over here on click, we'll say that the selected tab is equal to entities. And then down below, we can say if selected tab equal settings, then show me the settings. Else, if selected tab is equal to entities, show me the list, or entity list, and now we need to import settings from settings, import entity list from entity list. Selected tab, entity list. Needs a couple more things. What does it need? It needs, look at the exports. Toggle entity list. I don't even think we need that anymore. So we can get rid of this. I think we can get rid of this. Get rid of the show settings and get rid of this. Oh, okay, the styling went to that part. This is good. Okay, so let's get rid of the styling in here under entity list. All right, and does the functionality still work? Get rid of the cone, get rid of the box, add a cone, go to the settings. Okay, getting a little bit closer. Entities. Maybe we can move this to the bottom and then just call this entity. So entity list. Let's move the add entity to the bottom of an entity list. And we'll also just call this business of entities. Let's add some labels here. So we have the input, but let's also add the setting key at top. Should be a span. Okay, and then we can add a form and a submit button around that. Just be save changes, save changes. But before we do that, hold on. As we change these values, are they even changing? Let's output what this is. Space, data, space, settings, setting. What is that value? Yeah, it's not changing. Yeah, these don't change. So we're not binding the values here. Okay, let's do it this way. When this thing is loaded, we're in here. Well, let's do this. Space dot subscribe, and at this point we'll have the value, and it should be value dot data dot space dot settings. Let's say that settings equals that, and let's also say that there is a let settings. It's an empty map at first, but then we have settings equal to that. And let's just say, can we get settings to print it? Boop, boop, boop. They got a bug. Cannot read provide undefined reading space. Okay, how did we do it in entity list? In entity list, subscribe value, if value data. Okay. Value data space, yep. Okay. let's use object keys for the settings. And we'll put the setting and bind to setting. Yes. And now it is changing that. So then we can call and then try to submit the value there. Now how did we validate the form? We had some form validation, right? That was in where? That was in maybe under component form. Each object keys of this component data. Where are we using color string component form? Color string. Let's remove this filter. Component. So we're using it in component. Okay. Each one of these is a form. And now we actually need to validate the input here. We have to create a form. Initial value is that. Validation schema is that. And then it will run an update function. Okay, we'll come back to validate the form later. Let's assume you put in good input. Yeah, this is quite tedious compared to a Phoenix Liveview, gotta say. But if you avoid Phoenix Liveview forms, it's actually pretty good. Okay, so we could just console log. Okay, so we want to submit the form on submit, do a prevent default, and call let's just do console log JSON stringify settings. Alright, and we need a mutation. Where do we get our mutation from? I think an entity had that. We had a delete entity mutation. We haven't actually added the did we add that? Let's see. If we look at a cone, color, 0. That does save it. Okay, so we did do the change mutation. Where are all these mutations? Mutation, delete entity. That must be inside the component then. Is it inside the component? Oh, we didn't use a GraphQL mutation. We just sent the data on the component right through. It's because we had an API on the Signal hub called Spaces API, but we don't have one for editing these settings. Oh well, let's just adopt what we did for the entity, which is we'll create a mutation, grab this, go to the settings. Here we have the operation, but we also want a mutation. Update settings mutation will be mutation. And how does it, remind me, how does it look? Go to graphical. Mutation, we can update space. Take the space input and a slug. Space input, which is a space input, is update space. Take the slug that is a slug, and attributes, which is the space input. Okay. So there's that update settings mutation. And then when we use it, we'll use it here. We'll have to call update settings mutation. Let me go back and look at, was there anything else on the entity? Delete entity mutation, just passed in, something like that. Okay. Update settings mutation. Let's make it update space mutation. Space input has settings as a key. And the value is settings. And that's it, I think. That should do it. So if we go back to the home page, go through here, I want to modify the settings. Mutation is not defined. Yes, we need to bring in mutation. Thank you. Let's change the fog color FF and save it. Don't know if it worked. Got no feedback. Let's reload and see. Actually, we can check the backend, right? See. Okay, it looks like it sent the right things. I don't see a query to change it though. Let's refresh this to see if it has FF at the end of the fog color. It didn't take. So what happened here? Could have failed behind the scenes. Let's see, use skybox, clear color, fog color. And some windows, okay. Console log settings, JSON stringify settings. JSON stringify settings. Got this. If we go to graphical, mutation, update space, slug a space. Oh, it's space, not settings. Huh? Still? Put that console log back in. What? Oh, whoops. Here. Should be space settings. Update space. Slug. Space attributes. graphical mutation update space slug. Oh, you have to like specify fields that you want returned, maybe. That's annoying. Attributes. Oh, this thing doesn't look quite right either. Huh? Attributes. Attributes, yeah, space input. Okay, no space key. It is a settings key. No, I was right the first time. It is a settings key. What am I doing? Attributes, blah, 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 blah. Yes, and this should be settings. So what is going on? You want it without quotes? Fog color, fog density, skybox, inclination. So annoying. Attributes as invalid value settings in the setting. Clear colors. Oh. Ow. You gotta use the right. You have to use the CamelCase names, right? Yeah, that's why. Settings. JSON CamelCase. Converter. Oh, I don't want an online converter. JS convert string to CamelCase. It's annoying, but we might need a utility function. Const to camel, so we'll go and we'll convert. Let's see. Let CamelCase setting equal object keys settings and reduce a callback function, which is the key snake key and I'll take two things. Oops. Previous value and the current value. So you have the accumulator and the key. And we want to return the accumulator and the function is called toCamel on the key and make it the value of settings key. Well, return the accumulator. And then pass in CamelCase settings. CamelCase settings. Color. Okay. Did you do anything? Post parameters. Mutation with slug. Request to the entity provided the entity. Which returned name as the variable because name was the outer thing that you took. Okay, gotcha. settings. So our thing that we're taking is space input. It's a space input, and we're taking that thing as space input. So our update space mutation must take space input. Take space input. So that's how we're using it here. Delete this stuff. It was taking name and providing a value. Now we're giving it an object. Variable must be space input here. Still not working, right? I don't. What is the return value of this thing? Update space mutation and returns a promise. Okay, so should it be async? Async. Let result equal await, and then console log result, which is the JSON string by result. Oh yeah, our update, our mutation also needs. So we're doing update space this, and also we need the ID of the space, like slug of the space. Sure. Or just give back the settings. Okay. Result still fetch, and we get space settings, and it's the new thing. And refresh this. And it finally persisted. Okay. I'm not very happy with this. It's complicated and a lot of moving parts.